So this is our first book review. As you guys know, I'm Stevie. This is Riley. Kwon, go ahead and introduce yourself.
What's up, everybody? My name is Chris Kwon. You can just call me Kwon. And right now, I'm friends with these guys, but I'm also one of the co-hosts for a podcast called Kuma Talks, which is part of a bigger group called Kuma Thoughts. Come check us out.
It's a great intro, Kwon. So for our first book review, we're going to be just a little rundown for like how these are going to go. So each of these categories, we're going to do a 100-point scale. And the categories are quality of information, ease of read, is it applicable, which makes you take action, or is it philosophical, which makes you think differently. And at the very end, we're going to be doing a 100-point overall scale. And also, we're going to tell you that why you should read the book versus just a book summary. So without further ado, let's get started with how to win friends and influence people. So Kwon, do you want to tell us, why don't you start? Quality information. So what would you rate this book's quality of information on a scale of 1 to 100?
On a scale of 1 to 100, I'd put it in 86. I really think that a lot of the information there is very applicable. It's easy to read and understand, which is covered in other topics. Forget that. I rate this book an 86 because a lot of the information present is very valuable to use. But the thing is, some of the material feels a little outdated, and there's some contradictory points I've read in other books, which make me doubt this book's own validity.
That makes sense, especially like the outdated stuff. That like I totally feel you. I rated an 84 myself just because I felt like you said, outdated. But additionally, some of the references, because they were outdated, didn't necessarily apply as well. Whereas some of them, they were timeless, especially regarding some really influential people that I look up to, like Teddy Roosevelt, and Benjamin Franklin, Abraham Lincoln. Those are some people that he kept referencing in the book. And I thought that was just timeless because, those are leaders throughout the millennia, they're going to be looked at as that because of how they led in their time.
They don't really go out of style.
Yeah, they don't really go out of style. They're like the Chucks of the fucking leaders of the world. Yeah.
Dude, seriously, like two of them are memorialized on the American currency.
Yeah.
Yeah, literally, bro. Put a face on that fucking rock. Yeah. But no, legit. It's got great references still, but that's why I rated an 84. And then Riley.
I rated it a 90, kind of for the same reasons as Stevie. Goodness.
Yeah. For reference, we have a fucking puppy that's just here. Charlie, come on up here, girl. Come on. She's like, fuck you. But yeah, sorry about that.
Show the puppy, show Charlie.
She's camera shy.
The historical references and like kind of putting what the author says into practice and like seeing it done with like influential people, kind of. So I thought that was like a lot of value and a lot of quality in that. Actually, just like showing real world examples, not just saying do this and hope.
No, that makes sense. Yeah, I like that perspective. It's I see it. I looked at it a little differently, but I feel that.
Yeah.
Well, that puts our three scores at an aggregate of 87. So just for everybody who's wondering. All right. The next thing that we're going to discuss is the ease of read. So this would be more like, if you're like me and you read at a third grade level, then how easy is this book to read? So personally, I rated it a 94. So it is very easy to read for someone like myself, who's just, I'm not like dumb, but I'm a slow reader because I really like to take in the information as I go. And I felt like I flew through this book. I read it in like a day. It was a great read. Yeah.
I rated a 95 for ease of read, kind of going along with Stevie said. The book just kind of like has a way of like flowing, like each chapter flows like perfectly into the next, it seems like. And then also like the amount of pages in between each chapter, it kind of feels like it feels like you're making a lot of progress because the chapters are so close together. And yeah, like kind of like you said, it feels like you're like, oh, I'm like already on page 80. Like it doesn't feel like you are, but you are. So.
Yeah.
I enjoyed reading it.
That thing you mentioned about the chapters being the way how the book works is it's not like a normal book where there's like, like 10 chapters, 200 pages or whatever. Each chapter is, 30 pages or something like that. No, each chapter is like, some chapters were like 6 pages, like that short, where you could read it in like, a couple minutes.
Yeah.
Whereas others were like 20 pages or so that were like a little lengthier and they had more references like historically. But yeah, so that was our rankings. But Kwon, what do you think about it?
Yeah, so in terms of ease of reading, before I do that, Stevie, did you write down my new score somewhere else?
Yeah, I have them all down. Don't worry.
Okay,
You have
okay.
you ranked it a 97.
Okay, because I forgot what I said. No,
Oh yeah,
I
you're
know I
good.
only
You're
changed the.
yeah. I'll copy and paste them over there. Sorry.
Thank you. Yeah, that would that would help.
Hey, growing pains, guys. It's okay.
I just want to make sure it's
Keep it. Keep the
consistent.
struggle. Keep the struggle. All right. So yeah, you rated a 97 ease of read.
Yeah. Do you mind just writing down all of them so that way I don't
Do you
have
see
to
them
like break it up all the time? Yeah.
right
Perfect.
there?
Thank you.
Yeah. No, you're good.
All right, thanks, Stevie. So I rated it a 97 in terms of ease of read, just because from a perspective of language, it wasn't difficult. It was pretty easy to follow along with. And it's not a book where you had to constantly know what was in the last chapter to get to the next chapter. I liked how if you put it down after a certain period of time, you can just move on to the next chapter without feeling like, what did I just miss? Or what do I have to relearn?
Yeah, I couldn't have said it better myself. But that's why that validates a 97 for sure. Especially because I know you read hella books, so probably read a little bit faster than I do.
I wouldn't say
Yeah.
too fast. I'd say a pretty good pace for myself.
Yeah. Modest man. Okay. But well, moving forward, so applicable. I think that this was a great book for being applicable just because it had so many references that you could literally do right off the bat. What's so funny, Kwon?
I
Yeah.
was just I was just looking over at some of the documents, some of the points we've already had written down, and
Holy shit. Our Charlie just threw up, our puppy. But
I heard like, oh.
okay. Okay, glad. Okay, good. Somebody's helping her. But anyways, yeah. So yeah, I rated it for applicable at a 94, same as the ease of read. So super high. I don't take these scores lightly either. Like it was very applicable. Like one of the best references was like literally just smile more so that you're welcoming, and that's so easy to do. Like come on, people don't think about these things, but it's so applicable, and it takes no philosophical, we're going to get into that later, but a way of like changing the way how you think and stuff. No dude, just fucking smile more. It's not that hard.
Yeah.
But then you become more approachable and you win friends over easier because you don't seem like a foe, you seem like a friend right off the bat. Yeah, what about you, Kwon? Fuck you.
I rated this at a 94 just because while I did feel a lot of the material was applicable, I don't think it was the easiest for all of them to do. The same one what you were saying with the smiling, easy to do, fairly easy again, that
Yeah.
anyone can do. But there's still some stuff where, of course, they're great. Like let the other person save face. That's a good practice to do. But in terms of actually doing them, I think it's harder. It's easier said than done. It's not as it's hard. Oh God, I'm tripping up. Yeah, it's harder than people would think it would be, especially if you haven't practiced that skill before.
It's like having it be like subconscious and just doing it like off the bat versus like having to remind yourself every time.
Yeah.
I rated that an 85 for application. In the book, it talks a lot about like what Steve was saying. Do like these little things every day when you interact with people, and you'll kind of see the difference. So Stevie mentioned smile more. Another one was, when you shake someone's hand and they tell you their name, remember it.
Yep.
I think a lot of people have the habit of saying, "Oh, hey, my name's Riley," and then like totally forgetting it or not even like acknowledging that. And
Yeah.
he was saying how long of a way that goes. He was using like I think it was Roosevelt in the book as a example. He said he knew like
It was Roosevelt, yeah.
his janitor's name. He knew like his maid's name, and it went like a long way with them because
Yep.
it shows that he's kind of giving them the time of day, and like it makes them feel special inside. So
And on top of that, what Teddy would do is he would write people, like he would go and he would talk to people, and then he would write down like facts about them so that he would follow up the next time he saw them, and it was genuine interest. He'd be like, like, how are the kids, Mike? Like he literally would like ask them like, know their names, their ages, and like all that stuff, which is pretty smart. You'd have to be really meticulous to do that with everyone you meet, especially if you don't know if they're going to be an acquaintance or potentially, business partner later on, because they're just somebody you just met, But that just shows that like a testament to his character, like what kind of a person he was, and like how to win friends. You gotta, be genuine. You gotta really be authentic with it.
Yeah, and everyone wants to feel important. Everyone wants to feel special. And if you can be that person and make them feel that way, then it's going to go a long way. I mean, I don't know about you guys, but personally, whenever, someone forgets my name, it's kind of understandable. Like, yeah, I get it. This is a big event, big networking. So There's going to be a lot of names run through, but at the same time, it makes me feel like you weren't even paying attention to me in the beginning. And not just
And how
that,
does it
but
make you feel when they remember your name?
makes me feel special. It makes me feel happy. Like, hey, like we're actually hitting it off, and this is a good conversation. I feel like I can be closer with that person.
Yeah.
That's why I don't like it when people actually say thank you so much, because my name isn't so much. It's Chris.
Hey, I like that.
Sorry, bad joke for the
we'll end it right
podcast.
there. No, that was cool. I like that. I would like that. Smooth killer. All right. Damn right, that was me singing. No, I'm kidding. But all right. So philosophical inside joke. Philosophical. This is the next category. So this would be like it makes you think differently, like I mentioned previously. So Riley, what would you rate this philosophically?
Philosophically, I rated this a 95 because I kind of think of it as, I mean, the book has its own examples, but like I see people in my own life that do this and that kind of like people that are successful that like put these into action kind of, and it kind of made me think different in thinking that like, because I'll talk to them and be like, oh yeah, I read that book like 20 years ago, like the first edition or whatever, and it's like, oh, and you're here. Like, so I think,
And you're my dad.
yeah,
No.
you're the CEO of a company or just generally a successful person that people like enjoy being around. So
Yeah,
that's kind of how I felt like philosophically about it, I guess.
definitely. Kwon, anything to add on that?
Yeah, so for philosophically thinking differently, I actually scored this at a 95.
Okay.
And the reason I did
So
was
same score as Riley.
Yeah, same score,
Okay.
just because it pushed me in different perspectives. A lot of the stuff in this book already are somewhat of a common knowledge type of thing, but there were also things that would often slip up my mind or that I didn't really know how to quite place my thumb on.
Mhm.
And stuff like ask questions instead of giving direct orders. That wasn't something I really thought about. I would usually, if I had a group project, I would say, do this, that, do that. But then that's not really considering what the other person is thinking or what their capabilities are. If I had asked, then I'd be able to better understand who they are, show insight into me actually caring and trying to learn. So that changed how I thought a little bit differently. And another one was, if you are wrong, admit it quickly and empathetically. I always thought if you're wrong, I mean, yeah, you should apologize, but it would just be like, you know what? I'm sorry. Yeah, it
I'm
was
wrong,
my
but
goof
fuck
up.
you.
Yeah, but that's not genuine. And after reading that, it made me think, yeah, of all those times I've done something like that, it probably came off as really insincere, which is why the relationships didn't repair themselves as quickly as possible.
No, that makes total sense. I'm on the same page. I rated a 98 specifically because of how it made me look at listening differently. How you should really, really listen better if you want to make better friends, because to gain genuine interest in somebody, you have to be listening, because then you can inquire on certain topics that they're interested about. Like if somebody's talking, you don't understand the tones and their tones, their inflections, or what they're even discussing, because they could be talking about pizza, but in all reality, they had a bad day, and you were just like, oh, you didn't get your pizza, and in all reality, it's like they're talking about that because they want somebody to be there for them and listen. And this wasn't in the book, but someone mentioned to me, do you want me to listen or do you want me to give advice when someone's talking to you? Yeah. Did you say that?
Yeah, are you referencing me?
Dude, people have told me that a lot because I used to not be a very good listener, but I'm really, dude, did you say that to me?
Yes, I did.
I'm not gonna lie. Fucking my ex Alana told me that. But yeah, of course, my ex tells me to
Wait,
listen
okay.
more. I'm kidding.
I didn't say it in the same terms as that, but I said something along the lines of you want to vent?
Yeah, I do
You know what,
remember
I'm
you
gonna look
saying that.
this up.
Yeah, no, you were simply like, do you want to just vent or do you want me to tell you like what I think you should do? Which is like the same exact concept. You also had already read this book, fucker. So no, I'm kidding. But no, yeah, you definitely had told me similar advice, which just goes, it's like testament to this book. Like it has really changed the way how I communicate with people, because I don't want to take over a conversation anymore, because that's not a good habit if you're trying to win people over. Instead, you want to really just intrigue and ask them questions. He doesn't mean you don't have to talk, but make sure that it's not all about you. I tend to talk too much about myself, but yeah.
That was a big thing in the book too. He was saying like, make sure you like, the key to like having good conversation with somebody is like, normally you don't really even talk. It's just the other person talking about themselves. And
Yep.
whenever they do that, they feel
Oh,
and they want to talk to you more.
I
I'm
agree.
sorry.
No,
What
you're
I,
good.
Just
what I
found
do?
this.
What I do?
I just remember what I told you. I learned this on Reddit, but it was called the go-to is are we fixing, bitching, or distracting?
I like it. Are we fixing, bitching, or distracting? That's a good. Yeah, I like that. I'll yeah that can. I'll sit with that. I'll sit with that.
Yeah.
But okay. So lastly, we're gonna just do overall 100-point scale of the book, and this isn't like a compilation of our previous scores. This is a face value of what we'd rate this book. I'll start. I rated a 94, which means cream of the crop. That's an A grade. You know, you didn't shoot to the 100 where, you know, you can't make a better book. You can definitely make a better book than this, you know, but it's going to be fucking hard to do. You're going to have to make sure that it's way more current information would make it a 90, like a higher score, as well as a little bit more, in my opinion, a little bit more quality of information. How they do that, I don't know. I'm not a fucking book writer, but
There's a reason the book's been 80 years in print, and I think this is like the probably like third or fourth like rendition of it too. So it's obviously got something good.
I agree.
I rated it a 93. I don't have a huge like palette of books underneath my belt, so that's a little bit skewed. But just from what I read, what I got out of it,
you don't have a huge palette yet. Yeah.
from what I got out of it, that's kind of how I felt about it.
Yeah, I rated it 95 myself, just because I really like the overall structure, the design, the layout of the book, how they put the summaries at the end of each chapters and at the end of each section. Made it easy to follow along with. I just didn't give it a little bit higher because some of the information itself felt like it could have been explained a little better or approached from a different perspective. But I think the fact that it makes you think in those different perspectives in the first place is a really thought-provoking thing that makes the book really good, in my opinion.
Yep.
I would say this is one of the best starter books for anybody trying to get into self-development to get into.
I agree. It was the first book that got recommended to my friend from college, and she gave me her copy, but I'm a piece of shit, and I didn't even look at it for like 3 years, and I eventually just gave it to my little brother to read because I was like, it's just collecting dust. And then eventually I, you know, came to my senses, bought my own book, and here we are. But yeah, so last but not least, we're just gonna run back the overall ratings of the total aggregate scores. So all of our scores combined, and just give you guys like a different perspective of the book. So quality information aggregately, it came to an 87, so pretty high B, almost an A plus. I mean a B plus. Oops. So 87 for quality of information, 95 for ease of read, super easy to read, 91 for applicable, so very applicable, but could be a little bit more applicable, 96 for philosophical, the shit will change your fucking mind, and then 94 for an overall 100-point scale, top tier book. And last but not least, why should you read the book instead of just Googling a summary of it? So do you guys want to take that away?
Yeah, I guess I would, in my case, the reason I would read it rather than just watch a summary or read a summary on YouTube would be I really enjoyed like a lot of little like excerpts he put in and the examples of that. You don't really get like that into detail with just a summary of it. So I feel like a summary would just be like kind of naming off
the principles
without like,
just read the fucking title chapters then, you know?
much,
Yeah.
exactly. Rather than like, you know, telling you the little like renditions and little stories of like Roosevelt and like the little like stories of how those were actually applied.
The mechanic in the plane.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So you guys don't even know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Read the book.
Kwon.
I think that you should definitely read the book just because when you look up a summary, it'll just, like you guys were saying, it'll just give you the main points. When you do that, you're able to kind of not dissect, but see what it is on the surface level. But through reading, you can really gain more knowledge through the values that are presented, the way he elaborates and shares perspective on different topics, as well as through the actual experience that's portrayed in the book. Because experience is something that we can all learn from, and that's not something that's usually given in summaries.
Yeah, and Kwon took the words out of my mouth. They're literally giving you biographical excerpts of like extremely successful people in regards to like the premise of this book, like how to win friends and influence people. You know, you can't live experiences as fast as you can read a book. That's why you should read the book, because you're absorbing all of these experiences you can't, learn how to ride a bike by reading a book about riding a bike, but you sure as shit will do a lot better at it than someone who didn't prepare themselves for riding a bike. So on that note, we're going to salute off this first book review. But Kwon, thank you for your time. Kwon is a busy man. He's in like 95 units with like 15 internships. So he's busy. But yeah,
Thank you guys so much for
time.
having me. Yeah, I really appreciate that I got the chance to learn and talk about this book with you guys more. So this was a enriching experience for me as well.
Yeah, and Nana, when you're watching this, check out Kuma Thoughts because Kiki would like it too. All right, that's a plug for Kwon. But yeah,
thank you. Do you mind if I just say a little something about that?
Yeah, we'll put your link in the description too. So yeah.
Oh yeah. So just real quickly, for those of you guys who don't know what Kuma Thoughts and Kuma Talks is, it's basically a group that some of my friends and I have started where we talk about different self-development, business, lifestyle, politics, any type of book that we can really enrich our lives with. And then we use that as discussion points to get more value out of it. And then we try to share them through podcasts as well.
And I just want to add to that. The group is consistent of like a pretty diverse amount of college kids, guys and girls, people from different universities. So it's got a different, not like a group think mentality, but like a bunch of different perspectives tackling this book. And then, I like it. I'm a big fan of it because like my little brother's in it, so I have to be. But yeah, I got skin in the game. Yeah. But all right. Yeah. So thank you, Kwon. Yes. And thank you all for watching. Tune in 2 weeks when we produce the next one. All right. Deuces.
Thank you guys for having me.